Welcome back to another Uncut Phinatics. Today I have Alexis from Edge Network. She's a cybersecurity analyst and team lead over there. How are you doing today?
Great. How are you, Jamie?
I'm doing well. It's been a little busy. Lately President's Day this week when we're filming this, so I feel like we're pushing 5 days of work into four. So we're still getting caught up through that, but overall doing good. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing great. As an MSP, we are available even on President's Day. So,
Yeah.
full 5 day work week for me this week. But yeah, doing really well. Having our team growing, so it's always exciting to kind of get to teach new people.
Awesome. Well, we'll get right into the questions here in a moment. Just one quick question for you. How long have you guys been with Finn?
We have been with Finn for coming up on a year now.
Awesome. Just throwing that out there, just for I sometimes forget to ask that, and it's like giving some validity to your experience and what you've seen in the platform. But we'll dive right into question one, which is what challenges have you faced with Finn? Any issues in the platform, team, or service? Anything at all? Have you any challenges?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I feel comfortable talking about the issues, the challenges we faced because I believe it's far outweighed by the pros. But some of the things that we've noticed is in some of the reporting, you guys really aim to provide something that executives, big picture, team leads really want to look at. It's the perfect at a glance, but sometimes the details have come through a little wonky. So we've worked with support on that. But I don't think anyone wants to complete 103% of their training or 200% of their training. So,
Yeah,
um,
it's a little, they may be a little skewed there.
oh yeah, but I mean the end product still looks beautiful, so just little things to iron out. Um, Another thing is uh, so we came from a product that we didn't get to pick the content that was coming out. It was just kind of whatever came out on a certain day of month. And so it has been a little bit of a challenge because although we can preset campaigns, obviously, that are pre-built, I'm a little bit of a control freak and I really like to kind of hand select from the content. So there really is just so many options that sometimes I'm like, okay, I got to sit here for, half an hour, and just dedicate time to just looking through which ones do I want to send out the most. So,
Yeah,
lots of options. I have a few notes.
yeah, please. No, that's
Um,
good. I'm glad you came with notes.
but I think ultimately, yeah, those are just kind of some minor details to iron out, good problems to have kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you. Anything else on question one before you jump on to question two?
Um, no, I don't think so. I think the only other thing I can think of is just the keeping it simple and having things go out, like reporting the first day of, yeah, the first of each month or Monday of each week. Sometimes we run into people wanting, after the campaign rolls out during the first week of the month, having them want a report after that. But it's pretty easy to pull a report manually when needed.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that feedback. Question number two. Why did you choose Finn over other options? And I don't know how involved you were in that decision, but can you give us some light on that?
Yeah, so I think it's a story that a lot of watchers will resonate with. CEO comes back from a cool technology conference. It was Rite of Boom, actually. And he says, hey, check out this new tool. I was talking to these guys at their booth. I was like, oh, not a new system. I don't need change.
Right.
But as soon as I sat down to watch the um, demo video is available, I saw what it really meant by made for MSPs, and I then built a multi-slide deck on here's the problems we're having, here's what this solution would fix. And so I went from resistant to the change to probably a really big champion. So a lot of what I really like is being able to pick the content and being able to say, okay, we've seen a lot of QR code phishing or we've seen a lot of business email compromise. I can send out content as it's kind of happening or shortly thereafter. I also really like the phishing campaigns. I like the amount of set it and forget it options there are. Onboarding is so easy. And it really has just saved us like days of work each quarter. So it makes it easier to focus on what I really want to teach people and the templates I really want to use instead of, okay, I got to sit here and work on this and this, because we do deliver a variety of services aside from security training and phishing simulations.
Fantastic. And I'm also going to be tracking you down for that slide deck that you made on Phin. That's awesome. I would love to see that. If you still have that living somewhere, that'd be
Oh,
really
I'm
cool.
sure I do. I mean, it was such a breath of relief to me to see how much control we could have. We'd also had a lot of issues with our previous solution with allow listing. So Phin's allow listing, especially with the graph security API that was in place, it was just like revolutionary because we're having so many false positives before. And also the ability to sleep users, I'm a really big fan of, because obviously it's very nice to be able to say, hey, so-and-so is going out of town, not delete them from the system, but could they just be excluded for a couple months? And so easy. So
Awesome.
big fan.
Well, I think you've probably talked a little bit about number 3 already, but since your time at Phin, how does Phin make you or your team's life easier?
Yeah, so as an MSP, we obviously have quite a few customers, so it's not always as simple as, having one list in there and just running with it. So with Phin, we have the ability to, choose our onboarding training. We can kind of set it and just add people to the campaigns instead of having to do like an official send out and hope it sends it to the right people. And previously, like I had mentioned, we had a lot of false positives with our phishing simulations. And so even time aside, that just was a big weight off of us to not have to say, okay, do we trust this person saying they absolutely did not click on the link? Or, so it's been a big peace of mind opportunity as well, but really does just save so much time because the campaigns are so easy to do. I was actually teaching one of our new analysts yesterday how to set up a training campaign, and I showed him, I think, once, and then I had him share his screen to have him walk through it with me watching, and I didn't even have to tell him what to do. He just went click, 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 and did each one in maybe 5 minutes. So obviously that is incredibly valuable, and phishing campaigns are pretty similar. So has just saved an abundance of time, and also the scheduled reporting, super helpful. As I've mentioned, we've had some issues with some of the more graphically advanced reporting options, but the ability to not necessarily give a contact access to the Phin portal, but have them receive even that raw training data report. So nice. And also the last interaction field is also super nice, because that's something that we had run into where people were saying, I swear I completed my training, I don't know why it says I didn't. So with the last interaction, we can see, okay, maybe they did actually touch it. And so if they've interacted with it, but they haven't completed it, then it's maybe an easier thing to kind of address that way.
That's great feedback. Thank you. Question number 4, and you did mention this earlier already, but how would you describe your onboarding experience at Phin?
I was honestly really blown away with how easy it was. I'm just going to nerd out. So
Yeah, go for it.
Being able to grab a user list either from, a new prospect or from an account executive, from wherever I need to pull it from, I can upload it and then just map directly each field. So obviously there's the ability to import it by connecting it directly with the integration, which is also incredibly nice. But if we were to do it by CSV, which is what we did at first, because we were a little paranoid, we just choose first name, last name, and an email address, and it's really as easy as that, and it maps it for all of the rest of it. No manual input, no issues. And also the ability to put so many other fields in, like department, supervisor. An idea I also recently submitted for feedback is in the leaderboard feature, maybe doing like some interdepartmental friendly competition with sorting that out by who's doing the best with phishing. But onboarding was just really easy. We kind of customized the welcome message and figured out that, to send it the first time manually, but then after that, you can have people automatically added, which for anyone in the MSP space, especially working with multiple companies, it is so nice to not have to worry about that as an onboarding step. So if you do have the integration set up, new users, you don't have to make it part of the checklist. It just automatically pulls them in, sends them a welcome email, includes them in dynamic campaigns, and even adds them to the onboarding campaign we have set up for training. So really just makes it so nice. And also the functionality of being able to wake users and sleep them, which we had talked about earlier. Maybe I import users and then I sleep them all to make sure that as I'm kind of playing around with a couple things or giving the points of contact a quick little demo, it's not sending it to everybody at once. It's just such a nice feature. So it's really easy to do things in a modular way.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great description of your process. I'm glad you nerded out there a little bit and gave us a really deep look into how onboarding went at Phin. Final question. What features, updates, or changes are you excited about or looking for in Phin?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been kind of itching for some new content just because although the amount of content can sometimes be overwhelming to try to pick one, sometimes a refresh is what we all need. So I recently saw that I think it's like deep fake audio scams was added, along with a couple others I'm really excited about. So very excited to see that content continually growing. Hope to see it grow more. I also got a survey earlier with some features that might be on the roadmap that were pretty exciting, including, Google User Sync, which would be fantastic to make it like really, really MSP friendly because not every company will be Microsoft and have that integration available. And even with some of the Graph API having some issues with Microsoft, it's still, we haven't really had any issues, which has been nice. I think kind of ironing out some more of those reporting details and getting that sorted will make things even better because it really is at a glance. It automates a whole process, a whole concern, a whole aspect of your cybersecurity program. I know most cybersecurity professionals love picking out the phishing templates and maybe really enjoy setting up the training content, but reporting is kind of the necessary evil. So reducing that is super helpful as well. There's also a report a phish button feature that sounded like it may be in the picture, which would be...
Who's to say?
Yeah, so that would be definitely extra cool because I love shouting users out when they report phishing, especially if it is a simulation, just to kind of give them some of that immediate feedback of like, yes, we want to reward this. We want to reward the behavior that we want to see, especially because, phishing simulations is the best side of phishing that I get to see in my role, but I also get to see the worst sides of things like business email compromise or, like true phishing attacks that make it through email protection. So it's a lot nicer to be able to say, hey, you did a great job and really kind of instill that practice. One feature that I'm a huge fan of that I don't think I've mentioned yet is the learning moments and the ability to see who completed them. Again, with a previous provider we had, if someone clicked on a phishing link in one of our simulations, sometimes it would pop up saying, hey, good thing this was a test. Other times it would just lead them to like a blank page that didn't say anything. And so it was a really inconsistent, stressful experience. And so I love that the learning moment really takes immediate advantage of, hey, it was a test. Here are a couple things you could have looked at. And that's when it will stick in people's brain, not when they have to do a remediatory training a quarter later. So big fan of that as well. It's a little bit of instant redemption, I think. Could talk about this forever, but yeah, lots of features that I'm excited are in the works, and really, really happy to be partnered with an organization that does take that feedback so seriously and does look for those features that are not just easy boxes to check off, but that create genuine excitement.
Cool. Well, that's all of the 5 questions. Do you have anything else you'd like to throw out there before we wrap up?
No, I don't think so.
Cool. Well, Alexis, thank you so much for coming on Uncut Fanatics. It was really great to hear your experience, your thoughts, goods and the bads, and we really appreciate your feedback.